Welcome to Scofield Farm. Today we are going to do a February garden tour, and I want to show you real fast what my starts look like outside. It is a beautiful day, and so my pepper, eggplant, and loofah starts are out getting a little bit of sunshine, filtered light. It's about 70 degrees as a high today. They came out when it was about, I think, 54, 55. And then we'll take them back in a while and bottom water them. This herb garden outside our kitchen's pretty quiet. We do have some daisies blooming. We have some cilantro and parsley in there, a little bit of thyme, but it's pretty quiet. It will wake back up soon. That Japanese coral bark maple is really pretty. I'm Carice with Scofield Farm. We do a garden tour every single month since we started about 13, 14 months ago. And so this is our February garden tour. It's the end of February and things are about to change a lot. I always say that on our garden tours. But the truth of it is we grow food year round, so things are ever changing here. I wanted to be sure and show you. We had a break in storms, and so this is one of our few nice days. It's actually a wonderful day. I have short sleeves on, 70 degrees, and want to give you a visual because once we get into March and April, this garden is going to look completely different. Let's get started on one of my brassica beds. This is one of our brassica beds. We actually used to have beans in here. We also had summer squash in the summer. We have a lot of broccoli. We have some calendula. That calendula here, it actually overwinters really well. One of our broccolis there, you can see that it's blooming, which I just left that for the pollinators. We have cauliflower that has not made heads yet, and purple cabbage that is unfortunately kind of infested with aphids. It was not as cold of a winter. We don't have a lot of cold winters, so we do have aphid pressure even in the winter time. And that parsley is out of control gorgeous. We've been eating off of it and probably should eat off of it quite a bit more. We've eaten a bit off these broccoli and we'll keep harvesting side shoots as long as they produce. You can see in there, there's little side shoots all over the place, and they will keep going for quite a while as long as we don't hit like 90 degrees suddenly, which we have been known to do sometimes, so fingers crossed. Next, I'm going to show you what we have in our self-watering pots and some standalone pots. Right over here in these terracotta pots, I put some chard just for the winter because I do want to grow other things in here in the summer to go up this trellis I have right here. But on either side, I have a little bit of chard. Over in this self-watering pot, I actually have Japanese giant red mustard. And we started growing this about 3 years ago with a free seed pack from Baker's Creek. And it's become one of the staples in our garden now. We love it. We add it to all sorts of things, from salads, sauteing it, putting it on sandwiches. We just use it a lot. Over here in these other self-watering beds, I do have some mustards and mitsuna that are bolting, but really soon we will see asparagus come up. And I'll show you one little spot where we see the very starts of asparagus. This is our third spring for asparagus, so this is a year we get to harvest. Right here we have a couple asparagus spears just coming up. We have 10 total asparagus crowns that we had planted, so we should get 2 big clumps in every single one of these 5 self-watering beds. Next, I'm going to show you my potato bed, which is fairly quiet this winter. We do have a couple little potatoes just starting to peek up that were left over from last year that we kind of left in the ground because they were too little. I tried to plant a bunch of peas in here. I tried twice. For the third time, we tried again. I had my husband and girls go plant some peas that we soaked overnight, direct sow them, and I want to show you how those are coming up because they're the only things in this bed that are actually showing very much life at all. It's kind of had a rest for the most part this winter. Right here, I'm not sure if you can actually see it, there is a little pea popping up there, and actually at the base of almost all of these teepee structures I made, they're finally just popping up. So this is the third tries a charm, hopefully, for growing the peas this year. It's been a difficult year for peas. We had a lot of bird pressure and we didn't even get one pea, but they actually ate all of the vines to nothing. You can see one right there that's trying to peek up too. They're all at the bases. In the path, you can see a bunch of volunteer strawberries, and I'm just gonna let them be right now. I might move them later. I even have a volunteer lettuce over there. Oh well. In this bed, I have a humongous snapdragons that overwintered. I can't wait till that thing starts blooming. We have both onions planted around the perimeter of this bed, but right there, they're bunching onions. That's the big patch. The one that's just coming up out of the bed, it was dormant, is chives. And then all around the perimeter, we have onions that we planted. We have chard that's been here for several years. We have, what else do we have in here? We have a lot of fun stuff. It's a pretty quiet bed, but we do have, oh, I love this stuff. It's the purple carpet alyssum, and I always make it cascade out of my beds in the corners. So, oh, there's the dog. It is wanting to cascade out here, and the purple flowers are just very delicate and lovely. Over here, we have shallots, and I planted these French shallots last year and forgot to harvest them. So I know they've multiplied under there, and I'm going to harvest them this year and see how they are. I'm excited to try them. Over here, we have a couple cilantro and a purple, well, actually it's called Japanese giant red mustard, but I always call it purple mustard because it's that really pretty, almost a blackish purple color. More cilantro. Yeah, it's a pretty quiet bed overall, but this is where we grew hot peppers the last 2 years. I'm trying to decide if I grow them here again or if I rotate it to be something else. We will use this trellis to grow something fun over the top as well. We usually do different winter squashes, pumpkins, beans, loofah, all sorts of fun things over our trellises. Which brings us to the next bed. We have another alyssum cascading out of the bed here. And this bed has mostly garlic around the edges, though you will see a few onions that came back from last year that weren't harvested apparently. But we have a lot of garlic around this bed. We are growing 4 different types of garlic this year, and I will link to the video where I show how to plant garlic, and I show you how much garlic we chose to include. And I think we planted over 300 heads of garlic. We have some more cauliflower over here, and then we have, this bed has a couple different bunches of chard that are pretty established. I like to feed my chickens chard from this bed. We have some cabbages that aren't doing so great. Hopefully the weather warming up, they will take off and head, but chances are when the weather warms up, they are just as likely to bolt before they head. It's always kind of a crapshoot around here with cabbage. We've got amazing cabbage some years and nothing other years. On the edges of my bed and in this walkway, you will notice a lot of volunteer California poppies. I love California poppies. I let them grow the edges of my bed. If they are in the middle of the walkway, I will pull them, but they don't do any harm bringing joy and flowers and bees to the garden and butterflies if they're right on the edges. This pot is taking a break. We have been growing our hibiscus the last couple of years in here and saving that for tea, so we'll probably put that in there again. The next bed over here is my leek bed. It became a perennial leek bed kind of by accident because leeks will actually self-sow in our zone. So I will have leeks forever. I have some actually ready to harvest that are nice big ones. We have a ton of lettuce in here as well. We love lettuce. I planted out 170 heads of lettuce, and you'll see some of it is actually threatening to bolt already just because it's like 70 degrees. You can see how the middle of it, it's kind of forming almost like a stem. So we'll probably cut those butter crunch out and add them to dinner tonight. This Mayan jaguar is still doing just fine. So we will have lettuce and just keep eating lettuce till it is done. I want to show you the stems on some of these leeks. I do like to plant them in little groupings, and then I pull the biggest one. I don't know if you can see how thick some of those are. They are definitely getting ready to use. Very nice. And then we've got some little onions in a grouping that somehow came back. A bunch of my chives are just starting to wake up. You can see that like right here. This bed is really lovely. I like it. I am happy with it. We grew cherry tomatoes in it last year, and I'm still trying to decide for sure what will go on the trellis. This next bed, if I wasn't in an immobilizer brace, I had shoulder surgery, I would be totally stopping my tour to work on, but I can't because I don't have two hands. The next bed is my strawberry bed. We have a 12 by 14 raised bed that is full of strawberries because we have 7 kids, and so our family of 9 eats a lot of strawberries. We love strawberries. I still want to make strawberry jam, but we eat so many fresh as well. It's a great snack in the garden that it gets its own bed. These are everbearing strawberries. I definitely need to prune them really, really bad. Let me show you what that means. You can see it's a very large bed, but it is full of strawberries that have died back, and then there's also runners in there, so I kind of need to both prune it and thin it out. It's not hard, I just need some gloves, and it's hard to do because I don't have two hands. If I can convince someone in my family to do this and then maybe put some fresh compost on it, they will be so fruitful. They'll be fruitful if I do nothing, but much more so if I actually prune them and clean them out. The next bed I want to show you also has tons of lettuce. It has celery. We put onions around the edges, and then it has chard. And it's another bed that we had tomatoes in and cucumbers in the summer, and then it turned into our winter bed of lettuce and celery, chard, just really nice cold tolerant plants. We have had this chard for I think 4 years, and then we have chives just starting to come up. I actually have a video where we cut these all down, and they just kept coming up in the fall. They had a very short, quiet incubation time. Otherwise, they were producing most of the winter. We have lots of lettuce. As I said, we're going to pick some more for our dinner tonight. And this celery is gorgeous. I want you to see it. Oh my goodness. It is so beautiful. I planted it last spring. I have some more started inside. It has done so well for us, and the variety is called Celery d'Aline, and it has been great for us. Great stalks, great leaves, wonderful flavor. It grew both in the summer and through the winter for us, so I want to keep this variety in my garden. I have to quickly show you how much the bees love this weather and what we're doing with our fruit trees. Our trees are starting to blossom because the weather was so wet for so long. The bees are finally coming out on the warmer days, and they're wanting to pollinate the fruit trees, but we hadn't sprayed them yet for leaf curl, even though the apricots were blooming. This peach tree wasn't quite blooming yet, so my husband took out a kelp foliar spray and is spraying all of the buds on all of our stone fruit. We learned at a local nursery that kelp is as effective as copper, and it's worked for us. The next bed's probably my most uneventful bed in my opinion. It is onions, it has some sage, some chives, it has some radishes I sowed like 2 months ago that haven't developed their root really yet. They just have greens. Let me show you what that looks like. You can see the bed. I have that board down because I was trying to do carrots. I just checked it. There's nothing under there. And you can see all along the edge I do have onions, and these will be very, very wonderful. We actually save our own onion seed, and then we plant our onions each year from our own onion seed. I have a video about how to do that. It is super great way to have your gardening not cost as much money. You know, if you can save your own seeds in different areas, you're not gonna have to spend as much all the time. These are the radishes that are just green so far. I actually checked yesterday if there was anything bulbing up. Nothing's bulbing up yet. So we'll just wait a little bit. Hopefully they bulb up before they decide to bolt. The weather here is so funny. We get things bolt all the time in times that you wouldn't think they'd bolt. Oh, there's more onions. I want you to see how nice that is. So pretty. We grew sweet potatoes in this bed last year, and then the year before we grew tomatoes. So it has rotated quite a bit. I'm trying to think if I want to put tomatoes back in it this year. I've got to make that plan. I haven't fully decided. Hi girls, are you looking for chard? It looks like someone already threw you some. You are so cute. Are you gonna lay me more eggs? There you are, waiting for your treat. The last bed I want to show you today has garlic and beets and kale and snapdragons, and I want to show you how that looks. This bed has all of our hardneck garlic. Very beautiful and healthy right now. I mean, really, it's doing great. We have beets right here that are doing pretty great. I did feed them with bone meal that we made ourselves. I can link to the video of how to make bone meal. It's a very simple, short video, but you can make it yourself with your old carcasses from making bone broth. We've made bone meal from old venison bones. Here we have our kale forest. We have, let's see, right now we just have red Russian and cyber frill kale. I harvested all of the dino kale yesterday for dinner. I snuck out here to do a little garden harvest because it's like 70 degrees today and it's really hard to harvest with this immobilizer on. But I did get a beautiful little basket of stuff and threw some other stuff, the chickens back there, and they're eating it and enjoying it. Look at how gorgeous that basket is. It is purple cauliflower, broccoli, parsley, Japanese red mustard, dino kale, butter crunch lettuce. I think that's all that's in there, but it's a lot of really lovely goodness and beautiful color from the garden too. I love it. It was just starting to want to bolt, so we ate it. But yeah, this is doing really well, and I like this bed. I feel like this bed has given us a lot of food over the winter. We do eat a lot of kale, and we just pick the outer leaves, and it just keeps growing back from the middle. So I've been really happy with the production of this bed. I will, in the future, I think I'll always grow this many heads of kale because we just eat and eat and eat off of it. Super simple, guys. Short and sweet garden tour, but I have to have it documented for February. It's supposed to rain like crazy at the end of this month, just in just a couple days. And it rained and stormed like crazy most of the month. I want to show you, we have one of our apricot trees already blooming and budding out and blossoming. It's an exciting time of year. Things are about to change and the earth is coming alive, and I am so happy about it. I hope that you're growing something, and I'd love to hear in the comments what is happening in your gardens in February. I know we're all in different areas, things are all different, and I just love to hear, are you planting seeds? Are you transplanting, pruning? Are things coming alive, or is it still snowy there? Let me know down below, and I'll talk to you soon.
Oh yeah, true.
Hi, Duke. You're a good boy.
He's so cute.
He's fluffy. Look at all those future apricots. Oh, I really hope it's fruitful this year. This is I don't remember if it's our third or fourth year having this tree, but we haven't harvested any apricots from it yet. So hopefully this is the year.